Hi and welcome. Today we're going to construct an angle of 45 degrees and an isosceles triangle. The isosceles triangle would be a quite special one in my mind because two angles would be 45 and the other angle will be 90 degrees. So, first off, how do we do this? Well, same thing how when we did a 60 degrees, we found we could get 30 degrees from it. Well, from 90 degrees, we can find 45 by doing the same process of doing an angle bisector. So, starting off with our example, we want to construct an angle of 45 degrees. So, step 1, construct an angle of 90 degrees. Then our step 2 will be bisect that to find our 45 degree angle. So, that means that to do this, what do I have to do? I have to give myself a point on my page I'm going to work with. So, I'm going to work with that little point there. Doesn't matter your point, because we're just trying to find a 45 degree angle. We don't really care where. We didn't have any specifications. So, drawing it so it passes in two places, our arc. Right? Then what are we doing? At this point, we make it a little bit bigger, or a lot of it bigger, however you'd like to do it. And then we place it back on where our arc intersected our line. Okay? So right there. And then above our point is where we're going to draw an arc. I apologize, mine's not drawing right now. So, there we go. So our first place is right there, we have an arc. Now we're going to move it over, and we're going to find where we can draw our second arc, where they intersect. Okay? So, we finish off creating our right angle by connecting that intersection and our point down to our line. Right? So, at this point, what do we have to do to find our 45? Well, to find our 45, we just bisect it, right? So, that means I'm actually going to change the color to, as to not confuse you or myself. So, how do we bisect an angle again? Well, we put it at the tip of the angle. This can confuse people because people don't see that, oh, that's our angle now that we're working with because it's a straight line. Oops, sorry. And I'm going to shrink it a little bit because I don't want it really that big. So what do we have to do? Well, from here, we are going to mark a little arc on our page here. And then, similarly, on the line we just drew, we need a little arc on there. Okay? Then, keeping our separation distance the same, we are going to put our compass point on those new arcs that we drew, and draw a little arc over there. Okay? Mine's a little bit off, so I'm actually just going to go back and fix my compass position. And make my line a little bit smaller because I had forgotten to do this before. Okay, so there we go. And drawing our arc. And similarly, repeat this angle bisection for over here. Once we have our 2 points, last thing we have to do is grab our ruler, straight edge, whatever you actually have around you that's straight. And you can use to make a line. So connecting up, I extended it past, you don't have to. But now on opposite sides of this line, we'll have 45 degrees here. And similarly, 45 degrees on that side. Considering that entire one is our right angle. So there you go. We've brought together a whole bunch of different little principles we've learned. Angle bisecting, constructing 90 degrees. And now we'll add on a little bit more and construct an isosceles triangle. So you can see different ways. So here, we want isosceles triangle ABC, where AB is 5.5 and two angles are 45 degrees. So, it doesn't tell us which two angles, so that is kind of nice. So what are we going to do here? Well, let's start off. Always we have to draw a line. As always, our step 1 is draw a line. And let's mark a little point above it that we're going to use. So there we go. So let's start off by making our 45, or sorry, our 90 and then our 45. So here we're going to extend it out and make sure that we cross in 2 points, or 2 places I should say. Sorry. So we're going to grab that, and I'm still going to use that even though I didn't quite touch that line. I'm just going to extend it past, just because I can. Now, what do we have to do? Well, we put it back on where it crossed. We're going to extend it more, and then we're going to make our intersection marks. Right, so there's one, place it on the other side, and draw our other one. Putting our ruler to the side for a second, and just connecting our lines together. Notice, because of the thickness of my lines, mine aren't actually lining up completely accurate, but yours should do a little bit better. I mean, I'm still happy with them, but I'm a little bit picky as well. So now what we got to do is we have to bisect. We have to bisect this line. So what do? We put our pen right there. I'm going to actually keep it green this time. Okay, but I want to draw a couple little arcs, so I'm drawing a little arc right there, and I'm carrying it to there, because I'm going to use that now. So not changing the size, put it there, sorry, put it there, and then we're going to make arcs on this side, roughly where you think 45 might be. I think it's going to be somewhere around here, so I can make my first little arc line, and repeating it for the other. So we have here and here, and we can connect these to draw our proper full 45-degree line, and that'll be our first step. So here, I'm drawing it long right now, just because I haven't used or measured with my ruler, and we are told that we want to do something with 5.5 at some point, right? Some point. We haven't been told where this 5.5 is, where it goes, but we get to choose this. So how are we going to go about this? So now what am I going to do? Well, because we have one 45-degree angle there, and actually I'm going to change my colors now to red for this next section, and also for labeling. So we have this, and we know that this is 45 degrees, right? And we have this straight line, and we have this other line. So I'm actually going to use a combination of a couple things to figure out what we want to do. First off, we want a line that's 5.5 centimeters. So that's kind of where this is. At this time, we have to use this point, right? So we have our 0, and we want to find where 5.5 is, okay? So I'm going to do a little marking thing right here, and I'm going to indicate 5.5. So 5.5 is right there in red. So for my line, it looks like I have to extend it just a touch, which is fine. Okay, so we have to use that point, which also means I'm going to extend this line a little bit too, because I know where I'm going to use this. So we have to use a little bit of our common sense to figure this out. So let's place our compass, like we did before, on that 5.5 point. Okay, so we're going to place it here, and then we're just going to start repeating our process. Okay, so we're just going to repeat our process. So that means extending this out, and we're going to draw an arc that goes across both tips here, right? So this can become a little bit confusing with all the marks. Unfortunately, you have to work with pencil, as pens will not hold in the compass very well. Okay? Now what are we going to do? Well, we're going to extend it on here. And now we want to make our radius a bit bigger, right? So that's what we did last time. And so now we make our radius a bit bigger, and we're going to draw ourselves another. another set of marks. So we're going to bring this around. Just going to bring this around. Make one set of marks. Similarly, bring it over here. And our other set of marks up there. Okay? So what we can do now is we can take a straight line and we can draw it through there and through our intersection mark. What you notice is that now we have now made a 90-degree angle. So this is actually, like I said, using a combination of a whole bunch of techniques to do what we want. Because we know that that's 90 degrees, so thus we know that there is 45 degrees. So this is using more logic than anything. Okay, so same thing. Here's the exact same two questions for you, so give it a go. And once you're ready, we'll go through the answers one more time, a little bit quicker. Alright, so welcome back. Let's go through these answers. So first step, we're going to construct a 45-degree angle. That requires that we just have a line and a point just above it. So after this, grab out your compass, and we're going to place our compass on this point as such. I just am going to flip mine upside down and do mine upside down just because I don't have the capacity. So drawing it here, and now taking our compass, making sure it hits it in two spots. I want it a little bit bigger. So that works pretty well with me, because I can extend that other part of the line after, which you may do as well if you ever need. So there, now we want to extend our compass a little bit bigger, and we're going to put it on where those intersection points lie. Cool. One intersection point there, and draw our arc, and then taking it and putting it on our other intersection point, and drawing our arc there. Last part, this makes our 90 degree, is we put our intersection down to there. Now we have to construct a 45-degree angle. So keep in mind to do this, like I said, I still have to extend that line over. Keep in mind to do this, all we do is put our point or our compass at our point where our two lines that we just created met. And now we're just going to create an arc that touches both. After that, we're going to just go with one arc at a time. So we put it over on one intersection point, draw an arc over. Then we place it on our other intersection point, and we're going to carry on and do the exact same motion. Looking for those to match up. Once you've seen they've touched, you may get rid of your compass and simply connect our point and our other angle, and then you have now created not only one 45-degree angle, but two, so just make sure to label at least one of them. Now, we're doing question 2, so I'm going to give myself a lot more room this time because that way, more room to work with, better results. So first off, we need just a line, and then we're putting a point above it, right? So I'm putting my point there. Then we're grabbing out our compass. Grabbing our compass, ensuring that we're going to go over and be in two parts. If not, just extend it a little bit, and then you know it does. So, mine's working now. Right, I've got my two arcs. Now I'm matching them here. Now what do I have to do here? Well, we have to make it a touch bigger, right? And one there. And similarly, one over on this side, one here. We take this, and we're going to connect our point up to our intersection line. Extend it downwards. Okay? So therefore, we've done our 90-degree angle right now. So what else can we do? Well, we've done our 90-degree angle. Well, now we have to bisect it, right? Because we have to create one of our 45s first, and then we create a 90 after. So here, if we want to create our bisected angle, we have to put it there at our tip, and then all we have to do is create one over there, one over here, right? Then we're switching to where that intersected with our line, keeping the same separation and making our arcs. Once you've done this, we're just connecting that new intersection with our bottom right there. So now we got to pick our other point where we want to draw our 90-degree angle. But remember, we don't actually care because we haven't been giving any measurement specifications. So I'm going to take and mark a little mark on our line. I'll use this afterwards. And I'm going to repeat our process. So here, I'm just going to take my pen. Well, it's not extended out enough, right? Because we want to make sure it's hitting there. So if it doesn't, just extend it further. And we have our arc that crosses. Remember here, we don't want to touch how far it's spread apart, right? Because we want to extend it bigger. So we want to make sure that we have our arc bigger now. And that will allow us to create our 90. So bigger the better. And we'll draw our other marks. Right? If you don't know where they're going to intersect, just draw them bigger. Okay. So now we've got our point over on our line, and we have our intersection point over there, and we can draw our lines to connect, because therefore we have created another 90-degree angle. So there we have left with two 45s and a 90.